Hello everyone, welcome to this video. We got a couple things on the agenda today, primarily an update of where I've been, what I've been doing. Of course, as you know, I've ramped up my production on videos, I've ramped up my production on creations. You probably hopefully noticed that I've been putting something out almost every day, really been trying, and I got a lot of questions on the OMA barge. So you see here, we got this beautiful kind of motorized barge creation. It is in progress, and I do have the video footage that I'm going to put together for the actual build process of that, so expect that in another video. It is coming along. Of course, you see that there are some missing details. It looks a little simplistic on the roof there on the helipad, so things will be added as I kind of develop it or start developing it. And in this video we're going to take a look at some really neat creations that are supplemental to it, that I kind of asked for and got made for me for this creation. So I'm really excited to show you that. But before we do that, let's jump over to the workshop. So I've been putting out a creation almost every day, so it is a little bit tedious to go and take sort of photos and make sure it looks all nice and all this, but it is important to me. It does go with my branding, and I like to showcase what I've done rather than just uploading mass uploads. But as you can see, pretty much since sometime in October, I'd say, I just started putting things out. Now granted, they're not all the biggest and best creations. We got some big ones that are kind of redos, got some recolors, got a couple of new ones that you'll find interesting, the ROVs. We got the Q-Attach system out, so that is huge. That one was a lot of effort from a couple of my moderator team, and finally it's here. Of course, the nice big LX 319, which is the bigger version with 4 cargo slots. So a little bit of a redo, if you will, but still, as you can see. So just hop on over there, make sure to give these creations some love. Like you see, from the beginning of October until now, I've pretty much been putting things out. And yeah, tedious, a little bit of effort, it gets in the way, but I've almost been experiencing like something the opposite of like author's block or artist's block, where I don't have ideas. Instead, I have too many ideas floating around in my head, and I have a backlog of information, a backlog of creations I just have to get out, and that's what this is. So without sort of getting into detail, I'm finding it difficult to get to newer creations until these are substantially released, and you'll find some really neat things in there too. And just to give you an idea, so it doesn't give us a number, but you could see just the amount of F1 or finalized, ready to be released creations I have. A lot of cranes. We got the Q3 or Q1 attach system, sorry, and the vehicles related to that. But I've really been pushing, and the numbers have gotten substantially down. Like, this is not a lot of creations in comparison to what I've been having previously. 100 creations, that is how many are left. I counted in my Windows Explorer. Anyway, as you can see here, this is what I showed you in the beginning. This was developed by my moderator Zynoa and help from Thad. So between the two of them, they developed a system that uses the UniCon, as you can see here. And we got these guys over here. What are they? Well, you may have guessed, they are weather stations or weather buoys. So we have two different ones. They're similar in appearance for the most part, but they are different. The difference being the range. So as you can see here, we got the OMA logo over there, O, and here we have O+. So this is the extended range, and you can see how large this antenna is, kind of extending into this hole. Whereas over here, the antenna just feeds off from there. So I do want to release both of them. I find they're both good and both useful in their own right. So how exactly do they work? Well, this is where there is true magic. So in addition to the actual antennas and all the gear here, we have series numbers and we have frequency numbers or channel numbers. So this one, let's put it to 3.2, and this one we can put it to 4.1, for instance. So now you can see this little transmission pulse is going off. It's sending data, and if we hop over to this, we can actually, well, we already have the buoy station on. I see that's misspelled, I have to change that. Anyway, so what I do, I go up to my 3 series and I go to 2, and boom, We get information on the display where this buoy is, all the different details about it. And if you are like not knowing what one of these abbreviations are, you hop on over here. You could see that, for example, WH, wave height, and it calculates that. Now if we hop over to the other series, I believe 4.1, boom. And now it tells us where that buoy is. Now the nice thing is, if you have them on the same channel, you got to turn it off in order to get it. Okay, we'll do 4.3. So 4.03 and 4.0, see nothing on 2, and on 1. So wow, like this system allows you to have, take a look at that. You can go up to 9, but including 0, so we have 10, and in each one we have 10. So we could have 100 of these things. If you really, really want to start your own weather organization or sort of sea exploration company, well, these buoys will be how you can do it. So huge shout out to Zynoa and Thad for putting this system together. I really do love just simple things like this that also utilize my existing infrastructure, the UniCon container, and this is also UniCon format. I went ahead and spawned the weather buoys onto the barge. Now I'm not sure if this is sort of the first view concept at it, or first time I'm showing the actual use of the barge itself, but feast your eyes. Of course, still a work in progress. Now I'm gonna make my way down to the back of the vessel and we'll prime each one of these. This one we're gonna make 1 and 0. This one we're gonna make 1 and 1 just for simplicity. Turn them on, and now I gotta get my way into, or make my way into here where I have this. It kind of slid around a little bit, so let's see if we can connect it. But regardless, you can see we have 1 and 1, and need to make sure where the other one is. So I see one of them. Let's go to 2-1 maybe. Let's go to 2-1 and 1 and, oh, it's 1 and 0. 1 and 1 and 2 and 1. So always do a little check beforehand. 2, okay, 2-1 and 1-1. Now the one thing is, you probably want to adjust your you want to have them in the same sequence. Just make sure we're not gonna hit the bridge. So by having them in the same sequence, and what I mean by that is, say 1 and 2 and 1 and 1 is in here, you'll be able to see them at the same time on the display, just like this. 1 and 1, 1 and 2, and now let's get them thrown off the boat. But before we do that, I'm just gonna get up into the helm and rotate, because I definitely don't want to hit that. Alright, we're back up to 20 knots, perfect, moving along, and now we'll start throwing them off. So this one, first things first, if I release H4, and then if I release the perpendicular, it'll go forward. If I release the main, it'll go in that direction off. So let's release main track and just push it off. There it is. We'll give it a little bit of time before we release this one, but you can see that one is on. It's over there. So same thing, let's release H4 and let's release, oh, it's already going in one of the directions because I already released, seems, one of these things. So let's just push it off. I'll have to double check that. I'm not sure if I did release everything properly, but anyway, inside the lab now, we can turn on the lights, make it nice and bright, and in here we will see the various weather buoys and their position, their location, their data. We can jump through each one, make sure that we see where they are, and that is an awesome system. Like, I'm really liking how that works, especially in terms of this game, especially in terms of OMA, with sort of the research organization vibe that I'm trying to do here. So This type of thing I find super cool. And you can see on the display it's quite fancy actually, depending on which one you have like selected. You can see them there. So I do recommend using the same series, otherwise you end up with something like that. I'm gonna have to check what is going on over there because I don't think I have anything at 201. I should have them at 101 and 102. But anyway, really cool system. Wanted to just show you that and kind of explain what I've been doing recently and what I'm going to be doing moving forward. And of course, I do want to give a huge shout out to my supporters. You see here the list of these awesome individuals, and that's not even all of them. There's missing people because I'm only showing the Discord boosters and the YouTube members who are Captain Circle, which is the highest. But we have 2 other levels, and I'm just going to give them a verbal shout out. But the users you see here are the Captain Circle, and we still have the engineers and the first mates, I believe, that are not shown here. But I thank each and every one of them for that extra support. I really do. And I want to thank each and every one of you for just watching, commenting, subscribing, all that stuff. It really means a lot, and I hope that the content and creations I'm putting out are interesting for you. So, without further ado, I'm going to end the video, but stay tuned for more. Until next time, happy Stormworksing, everyone.